Alright, Murph 1911 back, and we are going to do a little overview of a SIG SP2022. This particular one is in 9mm and holds 15 rounds. It's got a 3.9-inch barrel, standard 3-dot sights. They do have the option for night sights. It also is available in 40 Smith & Wesson and 357 SIG, if you like those calibers. It's got just a standard SIG double action, single action trigger. Same thing you'll find in like a SIG 226, 229, 220, which actually is, actually pretty good if you really like double action, single action guns. You'd have your first about a 10-pound trigger pull there, and every subsequent one would be single action, and it has a little bit of take up before it just really crisply does that. See that? It's probably about a 5-pound trigger pull there. I'm not sure. I haven't ever measured it. It's got a milled slide and a polymer lower. With the texturing here, kind of feels like sandpaper. Not quite as gritty as a sandpaper, but kind of like it. Gives you a really good purchase on the gun. You've got some checkering right there, and you've got some on the front strap of the handguard. You have a Picatinny rail, so you can attach lights, lasers, whatever you like. And overall, I've been pretty happy with it. Generally speaking, I do like Glocks and 1911s better. I either like the striker fired or the single action, where it's just the same trigger pull all the way through for every round. And it does have a decocker like most other SIGs. It's in the same spot, but it kind of looks different. And there's your magazine release. As I knock over my camera, but magazines go in, drop free, so that's always a plus. And I'll show you how to disassemble it here. And it does have a loaded chamber indicator, which is right here, which sticks up if you have a round in the chamber. I don't usually pay attention to that because you're just supposed to treat every gun as if it's loaded anyway. And you can see here I've probably put 350 to 400 rounds through it, and that barrel has wore pretty good, I think, for that amount of rounds. I kind of wish that, wouldn't wear that much, because it's SIG. I wouldn't think it would have. We'll take a closer look at that when we take it apart. So to take it apart, you're going to take this little notch here on the slide. You're going to move it back to this part of your little slide lock lever here, just like that. And you're going to take your index finger and put it on that little button there, which is part of the slide lock, and just kind of push it out. And then you can take the slide lock, just pull it out like that, and just take the gun apart. That's what your internals of your frame looks like. You have 4 solid steel slide rails. I haven't had any problem with anything like that so far, so I'd imagine they're doing their job. And then you have your slide, which you have your recoil spring and guide rod right here. And it's not a captive recoil spring. It will just like come apart there. And you can see how dirty the gun is. I did take it apart before this too a little bit. I haven't cleaned it yet from last time I shot it. And you can see the wear that, like I said, 350, 400 rounds, something like that I've put through it. A little more than I would have thought would be on it. Nice bright bore though. That's just cosmetic, so it's not that big of a deal. It's just one of those things where you would think with a SIG it wouldn't do that, but it is a lower end SIG, whereas it only cost, I think this one cost me $400. With night sights, I think they're $450, and that does vary from place to place. I mean, looking on the internet, some people have them for $500, $550, somewhere in that area, but if you shop around, you should be able to get a decent deal on it. It's just real easy to put it back together. You just Put the barrel back in, put your recoil spring and guide rod back in, and then line up your slide rails with the slide. Just kind of slide it in, and then make sure that that barrel lock right there. Put this in before you do anything else. Make sure the barrel will stay in place. Push it in. Push it back to that little spot again, and just finish pushing it together, and it's back together. So overall, it's a cool little gun. Like I said, maybe not exactly everybody's cup of tea. I mean, definitely it's been reliable so far, but it's only 350, 400 rounds, and I would imagine with that amount put through it, it's probably a good sign that it's not going to do much. So, yeah, for the price, it's pretty hard to beat. SIG SP2022. If you're looking for a SIG, might want to consider it.